Monroe Township Zoning Board meeting of March 31st, 2026. Please stand and salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, please remain standing for a minute, please. We want to recognize our longtime construction official, Lou Bonacore, who passed recently. Can we just have a moment of silence for him, please? Thank you. Thank you. Please sit. Announcement of the Sunshine Law. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the following: posted on the bulletin board of the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal complex, printed in the Home News Tribune and Cranberry Press on December 26, 2025, posted on the Monroe Township website, and sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Masters?
Here.
Mr. Lupo?
Here.
Mr. Busman?
Here.
Ms. Caratori? Here. Mr. Tanzi?
Here.
Mr. Jaffe?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Jadis?
Here.
Mr. Pagani? Councilman LaFada?
Councilman, hey, I got a promotion.
LaFada.
Here. Thank you. Okay, got a promotion. No money, but a promotion. Okay, first application. Oh, I'm sorry. You got me all flustered with my promotion. Okay, board members, I have minutes from the January 27th, 2026 meeting. Oh, sorry. February 24th, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstain?
Abstain.
Was it you?
Okay. So we're gonna,
Yeah, we'll jump to that.
okay. So we're gonna jump right to a discussion item with the attorney, please.
Just, Mr. Pape, there's just a request for an extension of time that I think the board's going to hear before the first application. So it was Waterside Monroe Realty, just for a one-year extension of their approvals. Should take about 35 seconds. Apologies. I didn't look far enough down my agenda.
Hey, counsel.
Good evening, board members. My name is Ryan O'Sullivan. I'm from the firm Fox Rothschild. I'm here on behalf of the applicant Waterside Monroe Realty LLC. They're the owner of the property located at 1 Overlook Road. This board granted preliminary and final site plan approval with bulk variances back in March of 2024. The applicant is seeking a one-year extension under the relevant section of the MLUL from that approval's protections from zoning changes. My understanding is that the applicant has received all ancillary governmental approvals with the exception of the township MUA approval. I understand that there is a submission in with the township MUA that they are reviewing. Upon receipt of that final approval, our client is ready to submit a comprehensive resubmission that we believe will satisfy the resolution compliance conditions that are still outstanding.
Okay. Any board members have any objections to an extension of this application? And you were seeking for 1 year?
Yes, yep, 1 year.
It'll be 1 year until March 26, 2027.
Any board members have any comments?
Yes, I.
Mr. Busman?
Why so long?
The 1 year is just the standard approval extension under the MLUL, the relevant law, but I don't suspect we'll need a full year in order to get the final approval and satisfy the conditions. but it's just the standard in set forth in the
Thank you. Any other comments from any board members? Okay,
Mr.
do I
Chair.
have,
Maybe just change, they should change the date on their letter. 3026 is quite a ways off.
that's a clerical, I think our attorney will handle that. Am I correct?
I got that.
Thanks. That's a good one. I just see the three now. Good. Okay, we need, anyone on the board is going to make a motion to approve the extension of this application?
Motion to approve the extension.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
You've got a full complement, so we need one of your regular members.
Okay,
I'm sorry, that was Mr. Jaffe, I'm sorry, it was my fault.
Good.
We're good.
we're good. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Mr. Lupo?
Yes.
Mr. Busman?
Yes.
Ms. Caratori? Yes. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Mr. Jaffe?
Yes.
Chairman LaFatta?
Yes.
And just, Mr. Chairman, since this is a typical, just a ministerial act by the board, I typically prepare a resolution in advance because I have all the information necessary in order to do so. So I would ask the board if it would consider the resolution I prepared memorializing the one-year extension.
Okay, board members, you just approved the extension. Do I have a motion to approve the memorialization? I'll make a motion to approve the memorialization. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Mr. Lupo?
Yes.
Mr. Busman?
Yes.
Ms. Caratori? Yes. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Mr. Jaffe?
Yes.
Chairman LaFatta?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you. Mr. Pape, please come forward.
Chairman, may we begin?
Yes, you may begin.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, board professionals, and public, good evening all. Kenneth Pape of the firm Heilbron Pape on behalf of the Chabad Lubavitch Jewish Center of Monroe. This is a request to install a 4.5-foot Jareth-style fence in the front yard of the rabbi's home and shul. The purposes are to create additional security at the property. The witness who will present the application to the board is John Barry, a professional planner. Before we begin our testimony, I would ask if your secretary or counselor could confirm receipt of our notices and establish the jurisdiction.
And Mr. Chairman, for the record, I can confirm that I've received the affidavits of mailing and publication, have reviewed them, and the board has jurisdiction to hear the matter.
It's a very,
We'd like a copy of the transcript.
yes, you know, as I worked all those years with Jonathan Heilbron, and Jonathan always said, I have a court reporter because I can't remember stuff. And now I know exactly what he was talking about, and it's why we have a court reporter at every meeting, because I can't remember stuff. And so, yes, of course, the transcript will be made available to the board, and if you wish, it can be your official transcript.
Thank you.
So with that, this is a request for property that is known as Block 20, Lot 3.02, also known as 261 Gravel Hill Road, a single-family residence that also has house of worship purposes. And we would ask that, we're asking for permission to install a Jareth-style fence around the front of the house at a height of 4.5 feet. Because we're in the front yard, there is variance relief that is required. Because we're 4.5 feet, there's variance relief that is required. If I could have Mr. Barry sworn, share his credentials with you. We'll go right into the testimony.
If you could raise your right hand, do you swear the testimony you're going to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
If you could state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address, please, for the record.
Sure. John Barry, Barree. Address is 34 Memorial Parkway in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey.
Mr. Barry, if you could share with the board your professional and educational background.
Sure. I have a Master of City and Regional Planning degree from Rutgers University, and I've been a licensed professional planner and member of the American Institute of Certified Planners since 2014. I'm the managing partner of MJ Planning, LLP, and I represent half a dozen boards and municipalities throughout the state and regularly testify in front of boards such as this one.
Mr. Pape will accept his credentials as a professional.
Thank you. Mr. Barry, I'm just going to ask if you could take us through the necessary proofs to support the bulk variance relief that we're requesting of this board. And there's an exhibit, this exhibit is the plan that was previously submitted. It's nothing.
It does not need to be marked, Mr. Pape. Thank you.
Very fine. If you would.
Sure. So, thank you, Chairman, board members. The application before us is relatively simple. As Mr. Pape said, it's 261 Gravel Hill Road, kind of at the three-pronged intersection of Gravel Hill, Union Valley. And the property has a curved frontage along those two roads. And the proposed fence is a setback, will be set back 15 feet from the front property line to get inside an existing landscape berming that exists, along Union Valley Road. The fence is 54 inches in height, so 4.5 feet tall, and will be an open metal style, as Mr. Pape described it. Jareth fence is the trade name or a common name for it, but essentially a thin tubular bars with a top bar, bottom bar, so open through plenty of view for people from the street in and out, and also for motorists at the intersection. There will be no obstruction, no heavy posts or slats or anything that would obstruct view. The property is in the R30 zone, and the relief that we're seeking is related to the height of the fence in the front yard. The fence is permitted to be 3 feet tall in your front yard. Here, 4.5 feet is requested for the purpose of safety and security for the place of worship. So looking at the proofs, this is really a C2 case under the municipal land use law, where the benefits of providing the fence outweigh any potential detriments. The purpose of the fence, as we said, is to provide security for a place of worship. There's certainly heightened concern about safety and security for houses of worship in the current environment. And per the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, they issue a House of Worship Emergency Preparedness Guide that came out in 2024. Some of the recommendations include maintaining a secure perimeter and also maintaining clear lines of sight into and out of the property. And this fence accomplishes part A of maintaining the secure perimeter, and the open nature of the fence allows for those clear lines of sight without any obstruction that would be detrimental to the surroundings. So as to the purposes of zoning, offer that purpose A is certainly advanced of guiding land use in a way that promotes the public health, safety, and general welfare. Practice of religion, of course, is protected by the First Amendment and is beneficial to the general welfare. And the explicit purpose of this fence is for safety and security. And then purpose C is also advanced as to providing adequate light, air, and open space. As mentioned, the fence is open by design, both for sightline purposes for the property, but also to eliminate any potential obstruction for motorists along the streets. Typically, fence regulations have an aesthetic component and also a component related to ensuring that there is no obstruction to sight distances for traffic and motorists, and certainly this style of fence will not create any detriment on that front. The curved nature of the intersection also brings the fence a little further back than it would be if it were a hard 90-degree angle. So again, setting it back out of view that would have any detriment on traffic patterns. As to impairment to the zoning ordinance and master plan, the relief is minor. The R30 zone condition permits the place of worship, which is an existing use, and the fence relief is very specifically tailored to the compatibility with that use. So it's not a broader impairment of the zoning ordinance. In the 2022 master plan, there are no specific recommendations related to either fences or places of worship in terms of any proposed changes in regulations. So I don't believe this application undermines the master plan in any way. And I would offer that the benefits of providing the fence for the safety and security of the property and its users far outweigh any potential detriments.
I have nothing further of Mr. Barry. He is available for examination. I do have the rabbi here, and I know that he'd like to make a brief statement before the board concludes the application. Any examination of Mr. Barry?
If someone has a question, we'll get to it, Mr. Pape. Bring up the rabbi,
Very good.
please, if you don't mind.
Ask the rabbi to swear or affirm.
If I could you please swear or affirm that the testimony you provide be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
If you could state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address, please, for the record.
Eliezer Zaklukovsky, Eli.
Eliezer Zaklikovsky, 261 Gravel Hill Road, Monroe.
Rabbi, you are the resident and the owner of the property that we're presenting to the board this evening.
I'm the resident. The property is owned by the synagogue.
Would you take a moment to share with the board the reason that you're asking for the security fence? I think that hearing from you would be important.
Thank you. In general, houses of worship are in a little bit more of a worrisome situation recently. In this case, it's not just the house of worship, but it's also the family dwelling where I live with my wife and children. So it adds a certain level of worry having the synagogue together with the home. And because of that, I feel that anything that we can do to make ourselves and the property feel and look and be a little bit more secure is extremely helpful and necessary and would be greatly appreciated.
Mr. Chair, Board Member, I have nothing further on direct, and we are prepared to rest.
Okay. Chris, we're gonna start off with you, please, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Mine doesn't have the red light here. Okay. Oh, it is there. I just couldn't see it. Sorry. Just one question to confirm. There's no changes to the use of the property at all? It's just the fence that is proposed at this time?
Correct.
Okay, then I really don't have any additional comments. This is pretty simple. It's an existing use that's been established, and they are proposing to put up a fence that is 18 inches taller than is permitted in the front yard.
Thank you. Well, any comments?
Mr. Chairman, no, they're proposing the fence 15 feet from the right of way. It's on the back side of the berm, so there's no encroachment into the line of sight at the intersection, so I have no other comments.
Any board members have any comments? Seeing there's none, I'll open this application to the public. Anyone in the public wishing to be heard on this application and this application only, please come forward. Seeing there's none, I need a motion from the board to close the public portion. Do I have a motion? I have a second? Second. All in favor? Okay, board members, we have a already approved application in front of us. They're just looking to add a fence. Do I have a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Second. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Mr. Lupo?
Yes.
Mr. Busman?
Positively.
Ms. Caratori? Yes. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Mr. Jaffe?
Yes.
Chairman Capata?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, board members, thank you all.
Yes, thank you to all. It's good to see everybody. I think the last time I was here was during COVID, so everyone was on screen. It's great to see everyone in the flesh.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, next application is BA-5260-25. Mohid Construction and Renovation LLC, represented by Mr. Pape.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening again. This is the application of Mohid Constructions and Renovations LLC to construct a two-story building, partially retail, partially office, on property located in what was originally the shared properties community. Before we begin our presentation of the application, again, I would ask if council could confirm receipt of our notices and establish the jurisdiction.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I can confirm that I received affidavits of mailing and publication from Mr. Pape's office. I reviewed them, and the board does have jurisdiction to hear this application.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this property was part of the shared properties project. The shared properties project came before this zoning board some 15 years ago for the first time. I had the privilege of being part of that application. There were no less than 4 resolutions that were adopted for this property. There was a general plan for the entire project. There was subdivision that created the lots, and there was preliminary site plan approval for all of the commercial lots. And this property received a preliminary approval for a 10,000 square foot footprint, 2-story building that was 20,000 square feet in total. The application that is to be presented this evening is slightly less than that. It's an 18,000 square foot building with 8,000 over 10,000. The applicant's proposal is to have retail on the first floor with the options of having 1 to 4 different storefronts in the building. Currently our client is hoping to have one business take the full 10,000 square feet, but we're designing it so that it can accommodate 4.
Mr. Ali, your license is still in good standing?
Yes, sir. As a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. Yes. Thank you. Mr. Ali, I'm going to ask if you could begin by identifying exhibits that you'll rely upon for your testimony this evening. And then we'll do an executive overview and go through the details.
So I do have a color rendering as an exhibit. That's the landscaping plan, one of the sheets in the set.
Call that A1.
And I also have the original site plan approval that was approved by your board back in and signed by everyone in town here, the officials in town, back in 2019.
Call that A2, please.
And I do have handouts still.
And I was remiss not to introduce your applicant, who is the owner of the property, who is seated right behind me. And this is Mr. Ahmed Eden Sheikh, and he is the owner of the property before you this evening.
We just need one more.
Mr. Ali, if you would, just a few opening remarks to describe our client's goals for the development of this property.
Yes, you heard that the address is 204 John Warren Way, and we are lot 1502, block 4.01. And that shows on the official township sheet 5.01. And you heard that we, in the HD overlay VC2 zone, that's an overlay for the village center on 33. I think that's the only village that we have there on 33. Correct. Yes, VC2, yeah. And I have on the easel there is the approved plans. And we handed in about 5 sheets of some of the plans in the approved plans that were signed by the township officials. So we in the VC2, we have bulk requirement. The bulk requirement, we respected that with respect to the what was already been approved as a variances, and that will relate to the lot depth. It was approved 170, and we have that. It's the shape of the lot. That's the lot that was pretty much filed with the final plat at the county clerk's office. Also in the bulk requirement, there is in previous coverage that was approved for 74.9. We were required with 50. We also respected that. So this site plan application is no more than dropping in a building of 2-story, as was approved before, 2-story building. The first floor, 10,010 square feet, and the second story is 8,500 square feet. A total of 18,510. What was approved before, the same footprint of the building, with the exception the second floor was 10,000, so we are a little bit less than what was approved before. It's the same building pads, pretty much. The improvement on site is totally done. All we have to do, drop building pads right on top of what's already rough graded, all the infrastructure already in place, sewer, water, electric, provide a way of for us to, as part of this application, to put a dry well that was already approved with the original application. Same lighting plan, same landscaping plan, but our product is much better. We have more landscaping there, but the same lighting plan. So that is the applications, no more than just dropping a building pads right on top of what's already rough graded out there. Along with the 18,010 square feet, the 2-story building, we're also providing 75 parking spaces, 73 hard spaces, and 2 credit for AV. The original plan did not have AV spaces. We are providing 2 AV spaces. The original plan shows 65 parking spaces. We are providing 73 hard parking spaces, so it's much better than the original plan. Again, keep in mind that it's the same in previous coverage that we are keeping on site. So the green is still the same. We're not changing that on the overall for the this particular lot. So that is what we have originally. There was a couple of variances also that included with the previous application. One of them, what we are seeking is the I believe what was already approved 10 by 18 parking spaces. That was one of the variances. We would like to, as I stated before, we'd like to add additional parking spaces to be very self-independent based on the number for this particular lot, based on the square footage. So we played the math for 4 per 1,000. That is the VC zone that as far as the parking requirement in that AV zone, you will see that we're meeting the requirement, and we also exceeding it by 2 parking spaces. We're originally 65, so they had less, but they did not seek a variance back then because the way the VC zone is constructed is that the overall VG retail and commercial has to meet the requirement, and they do have that. So we're talking about the total number of parking spaces on the number of pads that they have out there. But this is much better. We're meeting the requirement just on our lot. With that said, we are seeking 9 by 18 on some of the parking spaces, about 49 parking spaces that we have 9 by 18 that we'd like to have that. However, in front of the store, around the store, or around the building, we do have 10 by 18, and that's a total of 24 spaces. So that's pretty much what we have here. It's the same everything as far as utilities, landscaping, lighting, same impervious coverage, same location, same lot, same everything.
I'm going to ask you, just for the record, so let's just do a couple of the statutory elements of a site plan. Grading, property generally ready for development, already been graded?
It's already been graded. Some of the spaces that in front of the affordable housing building is already hard top. The on-site, they already have the sub-bays, the bays, and actually people from the affordable housing site, they park in there. So it's already graded. The building pads is rough grade. So again, it's the same what was approved as far as grading.
Drainage system's already in place?
Drainage system, it's already in place for the overall developments. All we obligated to do, as I stated before, is just a dry well that was on the original plan, and we will be adding that dry well. However, the pipe leading out into the main system is already in place. So all we have to do drop again is just a couple dry wells as approved before.
I think it's important to point out there's drainage throughout this site, throughout this full campus, and there was an organization that was created, memorialized in some documents. I found the documents earlier today. Mark, I didn't give them to you timely. I sent them at 5:15. But I did find all of the documents. There is a declaration of covenants and management that exists amongst all the commercial properties. Our client belongs to that organization and participates in it. There's an organization of all the properties that manages the drainage system, and it's in place, and it's been operational now for years. And I went looking through all of my documents and found that and shipped it over to Mr. Rasmo. It's unfortunately late this afternoon. If we could do landscaping and lighting, you indicated a greater amount of landscaping. If you just indicate where we're further landscaping?
If you see on the color rendering, you see that we have quite a bit of green in the back of the store, which is basically along the frontage of John Warren Way, and that area will be beefed up with some landscaping. Was asked of us from your staff at the TRC meeting, and I believe that it's been already approved in the review letter by your staff.
The lighting, there's a lighting scheme throughout the entire community. That's the lighting scheme that is followed here, and no change to the lighting.
That is correct. No change to the lights, LED. It's the same lights what you see out there will be consistent with that.
think in your remarks you've already spoken to parking. If you could, trash storage, recyclable storage, if you could identify the location. And again, I think we're in the same position that we were for the first approval.
The trash enclosure is in the same place. The loading area is in front of the trash enclosure, is the same area. We did increase the enclosure. What was approved is 12 by 16, I believe. 12 by, 16, and what we have is 14 by 20. So we increased the enclosure a little bit.
And last, if you, a monument sign, Mr. Radasti can talk about the artistic elements of the sign, but if you could identify its location.
Yes, on the original approval, they call it directional sign. The location of the sign is in the same place. And that will be the north, true north, pretty much of the, if you're in the back of the building, looking at the building, will be the back corner, the back right corner on what you see on the plan.
Mr. Chair, board members, I have no further direct examination of Mr. Ali. He is available to the board. Mr. Ali, you participate in the TRCs, you've reviewed the staff's reports, you've been in
Yes.
contact with the board's professionals.
Yes.
Are you comfortable that you can and will address the technical requirements that are set forth in those reports?
Absolutely.
He's
Please
available to
proceed.
the board and board's professionals,
Go to
Mr.
your
Chair.
next witness, please.
Next
All
witness, sir?
Please, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kennel?
Do you swear the testimony you're going to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
If you could state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address, please, for the record.
Scott Kennel, Kennel, McDonough and Wright Associates, located at 1431 Lakeland Road, Manasquan. I don't know if this is-
Mr. Chair, I know that Mr. Kennel has
We'll-
been.
we'll accept
You'll
his
accept,
credentials.
thank you. Mr.
Please.
Kennel is
Thank
offered
you.
as a traffic expert, and thank you for accepting him based on prior testimony. Mr. Kennel, very simple and straight to the point. Mr. Ali has identified the parking lot, indicating that there's a smaller building and a greater number of parking stalls than was originally required. Just going to ask if you could render an opinion as to the adequacy of the parking on site and the adequacy of the on-site circulation on site.
Yes, as it relates to the site plan, as was testified, we have the parking that's supplied that's consistent with the ordinance. In my opinion, it'd be more than adequate, and just for the board's benefit, there's additional parking spaces for the apartments that have approximately 42. And I've done a number of observations and always observed anywhere from 24 to 25 maximum number of spaces occupied. So just for the board's benefit, I also took that into consideration. But that aside, the plan as designed complies with the ordinance with the 73 parking spaces. As far as the site access points, they've already been constructed, they exist. It was previously designed to provide adequate sight lines from both access points to this lot. And again, with the building layout and design, we were able to maintain the appropriate site distance. And as far as on-site circulation, the plan as presented provides positive on-site circulation for not only passenger vehicles, but the delivery and refuse vehicles that'll service the site.
And Mr. Chair, members of the board, I have no further direct of Mr. Kennel. He is available to the board and board's professionals.
Just move forward,
Keep
please.
moving. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Stephen Radasti is the architect who's designed the building that our client would like to build on this property. Let's have Mr. Radasti come sworn. Will provide his credentials to go into his architectural design.
You could raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're going to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You could state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address, please, for the record.
Stephen Radasti, Radosti. That's Stephen with a PH. and it's 379 Princeton Heights Town Road in Cranberry, New Jersey.
Mr. Adasi, please share with us your education and professional background.
So I'm a registered architect in the state of New Jersey. I graduated from New Jersey Institute of Technology with a Bachelor of Architecture degree in 1992. I became licensed in New Jersey in 1996. I'm a principal at Perez and Radasti Architects. I've designed hundreds of projects throughout the state of New Jersey. I have presented in front of this board before.
We'll accept this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Radasti, I'm going to ask if you could present your building to the board. The building is most interested in the outside facade of the building, but if you could take us through the design elements, please.
Okay, so I have two drawings, sheets CS1 and CS2. Both of these were submitted to the township prior to today. CS1 is a conceptual floor plan dated 12/5/25, and CS2 is a conceptual elevations in color, and that's also dated 12/5/25.
If you could take us through the design elements of the exterior of the building, please.
Sure. So the east elevation of the building was designed to have a lot of glass and other architectural elements to make it architecturally attractive. I started with a faux stone base with a water table that would visually anchor the building to the ground. The same stone would extend around the building, but be higher and lower in height in different areas in order to add some visual interest to the building. In the center of the east elevation would be the main entrance for the retail space. It would be flanked by glass and protected with a long metal and glass roof that would provide weather protection for shoppers, but it would also provide a horizontal visual element to break up the facade. To contrast the horizontal roof, I added a rhythm of vertical pilasters with stone bases and a stucco finish. The main facade material would be a warm-colored earth tone stucco or EIFS finish, exterior insulation finish system finish. The top of the walls would be finished with a stepping decorative cornice. So the symmetrical elevation would be broken up with dark framed aluminum windows that would have low E glazing. At the top left of the east facade would be 14-inch high, non-internally illuminated channel numbers denoting the street address of 204. At the center of the facade, over the entry doors, would be a building-mounted sign. The sign would be LED and internally illuminated. This sign would be 4 foot high and 8 feet long for a total of 32 square feet. The same materials that I used for the design of the east elevation would also extend around all of the other 3 elevations, making them equally interesting as the front elevation. And on the north elevation, I have the main entrance to the offices. The double doors are protected by another metal and glass roof, and the stone extends up the facade by the entrance in order to draw attention to it. Above the roof is an internally illuminated LED sign for the offices. The sign is 1'6" high by 8'6" long for a total of 12.75 square feet. Adjacent to the door is a 3 foot high by 2 foot wide, 6 square foot directory sign, so the person visiting the building would know which office suite to go to.
I know that you also designed the monument sign to be consistent with the architecture of the building. Could you take us through the monument sign design?
Yes, I could. In addition to the building-mounted signs, we have a monument sign. And we're proposing a sign that would be 4'8" tall and 5 feet wide for a total of 23.33 square feet. That would match the colors and materials of the building. It would have a faux stone base and stucco finish and would support a 2 foot high by 3 foot wide internally illuminated LED sign box. At the top corner of the sign would also be 4-inch high non-illuminated address numerals showing the address of 204.
Last, I'm going to ask if you could take us inside the building just for a moment. And in my opening remarks, I indicated that our client would like to have 1 tenant, but has designed the building to have the flexibility to have 4 tenants. This is retail tenants on the first floor. If you could just take us through how you've incorporated that into the design of the building.
Sure. So the retail space, the main entrance is along the east elevation, and right now we have it as one large space. but potentially if we can't get one large tenant, we have it divided up so that you could have up to 4 smaller tenants. So we have the second means of egress at the rear of the building. Showing at the north and south sides of the building, we have a staircase on either side that serves the second floor. In the southern portion of the building, we have a fire sprinkler room because the building will be fully fire sprinklered, mechanical space, and then to enter to the second floor, if you go around the south side of the building, we have double doors separate from the retail, so there's no confusion about the 2 different uses. A person who wanted to go to the offices would go into the lobby and either take the stairs or they would take the elevator up to the second floor. Depending on how many tenants are on the second floor, if there's multiple tenants, there would be a corridor down the center as we show, with the second means of egress staircase at the northern side of the building. And along the way, there would be up to 5 tenants on the second floor. And we also have an exterior roof deck in case people work in the offices, it's a nice day like today, and they want to take a break outside, maybe have their lunch out there, or maybe have an outdoor meeting.
And I think it's a given, but let's place it on the record. This building is designed to be 100% ADA compliant and 100% New Jersey barrier free.
That is correct. It is. It will be meet the American with Disabilities Act.
Mr. Chair, that concludes the direct presentation of the architect. I look to you for guidance. One more? Okay, thank you.
Thank you
very much. Thank you. And the fourth and final professional witness this evening is Mark Remsa, our professional planner.
Do you swear the testimony you're going to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
If you could state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address, please, for the record.
My name is Mark A. Remsa, R-E-M-S-A. The address is 10 Dewberry Court, Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
Mr. Chair?
We'll accept this credential.
Mr. Professional planner in the state of New Jersey, and your license is in good stead on this evening?
They are both of my licenses.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
If you would take us through your presentation of the variance relief required for the application before the board this evening.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair, board members, and members of the public. The property's been described, but I always like to also add to describe what's around the property. To the north, across Joan Warren Way, is a townhouse development. To the east is the apartment building, which actually shares some of the parking area with this property. And also farther to the east is an office complex on a separate property. To the south is a commercial use, the Starbucks. And then to the west is the child care facility and additional townhouses. So that's what surrounds this property. And this piece of property is actually one of the last infill properties in the overall development of the area. So I was actually checking out my notes on this back in 2014 when the preliminary site plan was approved. I did review the application back then, so I may have some institutional knowledge about the actual approval of this property and the surrounding properties. So back in 2014, when the subdivision was approved, the property you see before you was approved as well. And in Chris's report, March 26th of this year, he asks a question about, it does not appear a variance was approved for the lot depth for this property, so we should clarify. So this application here is not changing anything that was approved back in 2014. And I actually checked my notes. There actually were a number of lot depth variances for a whole host of properties back in the day. And I believe this was one of those. But nevertheless, this application is not changing what was approved back in 2014. Also, there's a variance Chris calls out for the front yard setback. Now, we do require a front yard setback because we violate the maximum setback that's required, and that's 20 feet. If you look at the crest design, the building that was proposed on this lot was actually jogged. So the reason why it was jogged was because there is a site triangle distance at the driveway at the curve in the Joan Warren Way. And I'll point that out to you on, Peter, this has a exhibit number?
The color rendering is Exhibit A1.
A1, okay, so here's the driveway, and there is...
Mark, call this mic,
Oh,
please.
I'm sorry.
Tested, it might be okay.
Thank you, Kevin. So, back in the day, this building actually had a jog in it under the crest approval. And the reason why they jogged it was because they have a site distance that's required for safety along Joan Warren Way. Now, we're not having that same jogged footprint, so it's more rectangular, as you can see. And so, in order to avoid cutting off the site distance from this driveway, the
Somebody's setting you up.
you know what? That's okay. I'll grab it. It'll stretch.
I don't know.
So the reason why we need the 30 feet setback here is in order to maintain the proper site distance. And if we were to go 20 feet closer, we would come into conflict with the site distance. So that's really the reason why we need that variance. And Chris's report is right on point. And of course, the reason for it is a flexible C variance for better zoning and better design, so that we don't conflict with the site distance. Maximum impervious coverage, well, as you heard from Sharif, the approval back in 2014 approved the impervious coverage that you see here today, and as Sharif indicated, he's honoring that 74.9% impervious coverage. He's not going over that. So in my opinion, there isn't a variance required for that. Now, in terms of parking, if you look at the crest plan that was approved back in the day, the approved parking ratio was 1 space for 250 square feet of gross floor area. And that's what is applied here. From the preliminary plan that was approved, we did not change the parking ratio that was approved back then. And also, back then, this building was supposed to consist of 2 floors, 20,000 square feet total, with commercial on the first and office on the second. And so we've actually reduced the overall gross floor area and still applied the 1 per space per 250, and that's how we came up with the parking requirement. So holding the preliminary approval, preliminary approval, I don't believe a variance for the number of parking spaces is required. However, back in the 2014 approval, the applicant withdrew the 10-foot wide and a required 10-foot wide parking space because he was proposing 9 foot, and that was deferred to tonight to this site plan. And we have a combination of 10-foot wide parking spaces and 9-foot wide parking spaces. I'm going to go back to A1. The 10-foot wide parking spaces are all associated right up against the commercial building. The 9-foot spaces are kept in line with what was approved and built on the adjoining apartment building, and these islands are all in place. And so if you look across, these are all 9-foot spaces. And so we're keeping those, which is the shared parking area for the apartments and for the proposed building. But the spaces that are up close are 10 feet wide. And that's really what you want, because that's where you want the people who have any goods or products that they're buying, you want the 10-foot wide space. And so this would be considered a flexible C, again, for better design. Maintaining the 9-foot that's more associated with the back part of the lot, and then the 10-foot wide, which is associated with the commercial. Okay. Trying to go through here. Chris also brings up a variance for the berms. There actually are no berms proposed in the site plan. Normally, you have the berms that are proposed is to create a buffer, if you will, from the roadway. But in this case, this is the village center. The intent was to create a more village-like appearance. Berms are not really typically provided in the internal part of the villages. So instead, and plus the grading changes from lower along the streetway up to the property. Sharif, did you bring your grading plan? Let's show them the grading plan. And this is part of the package that you submitted? So then no marking of those.
Does not need to be marked.
I just call out the page.
Sounds good.
We need the contours. So, yes, so the pad site is existing, the road is down lower. I'm pointing to page 4 of 9 of Sharif's set of plans. So the building is up higher and it slopes down, and then you have the streetway. So it would be out of character to put berming here, but instead putting the landscaping between the building and the edge of property line would be more appropriate for the setting, for the village setting. So again, that would be a flexible C type of variance. Okay. I think, and Mr. Steve covered the signage, and we talked about the recycling and refuse area, which is in the same general location that was previously approved. So really, in sum, we have the 30-foot front yard setback, which exceeds the maximum of 20 feet. And we do have a combination of 10-foot wide and 9-foot wide parking spaces. I believe that covers the variances, and they're all related to the flexible C proofs, which result in a better design for the site.
Again, Mr. Chair, nothing further and direct of Mr. Remser. That is the conclusion of the 4 professional witnesses.
Okay, Chris,
Okay.
you're on.
All right, I'm going to quickly go through my report dated March 26th of this year. I believe they've covered the majority of the report. I have a few questions, perhaps one, I think maybe like one question for each witness, maybe two. Let's see here, but they've largely covered everything I want to go over. This is a small part of a much bigger project that has a long history of approvals here, and it appears the majority of the current, I'll say, nonconformities that are proposed at this time were previously approved with one iteration or another of the plans that came before this board, whether in 2014 or 2019, and then again in 2021, was it, if I'm getting those dates correct? Okay, let's see. Lot depth, the front yard setback is 10 feet or 20 feet to the curb. I think I got to point out that there's some conflicting standards in your ordinance here to have a maximum setback of either 10 feet or 20 feet, but then also require berming. I don't think you could do both of them. And as Mark said, for berming, the intent is for much more highway-oriented concepts, where this is a village concept. The purpose of the zoning here and the purpose of the 10-foot front yard setback and 20 foot to the curb was to have buildings closer to the street to create a more village-like atmosphere. I don't know that the overall development as it was previously approved really quite fits that village concept that might have been initially contemplated when the zoning was put in place. Impervious lot cover, the covered parking, I don't think it was mentioned, but I think it's important to note that this is like I said, a much larger project. The lot line straddles the middle of a parking lot here that you're sharing with apartments. So even though a variance was previously granted for the number of parking spots, can you at least touch on what is the opportunities here for shared parking and the differences in peak hour generation between the uses? I know usually between, say, residences and offices, they're completely opposite peak hour usage, but the residences and the retail, is there going to be conflicts there, or is this something where there's minimal overlap and opportunities for residents to park when they leave to go to work, the office workers come in and park?
You're correct. I mean, there is a shared parking phenomena. When I mentioned before, I observed 25, 26 vehicles parked. That was after 9 p.m. Obviously, when the offices are closed and the retail has less activity. During the day, it's generally anywhere from 10 to 15 cars parked associated with the apartment building. So therefore, there is a shared parking, there will be a shared parking phenomenon taking place here.
Okay, thank you. Regarding the size of the parking spaces, I don't see an issue with the 9 by 18 parking spaces. Usually where I see, we would want to see the full 10 by 20 size spaces is like a grocery store where people are putting a shopping cart out next to their car. Based on the design of the building and the size, I don't think it's not going to be a ShopRite or a Wegmans coming in here. Maybe a, what are the smaller one? I don't know if Trader Joe's even fits in that size, but probably not a grocery store is my guess here. Okay, so very unlikely there's going to be shopping carts in these parking spaces, so I think the 9 by 18 is probably okay. Am I not?
No, it's not your fault.
There we go. Sorry, that's why I'm getting strange looks from over there. You can't hear me.
They're looking at me to fix it. Go ahead.
Darth Vader thing going on. Sorry, do I need to repeat anything I just said, or did you get me?
You got it.
Okay, I'll move on. Parking, let's see. Talk about the berms. They've already addressed our previous landscaping comments. Let's see. Application. A question for the architect about the front elevation. I'm just a little curious, since it is potentially dividable into 4 retail spaces. Is there any reason there's not more of like a storefront along the front? It looks like the glazing is mostly limited to the center, and then it's just more or less windows rather than storefront on the left and right sides.
Well, our client is hoping to have one tenant for the space, so it was originally intended to just be one tenant. I guess if we end up having more than one tenant, we do have other doors here. Yeah. The intent was, that's why it's symmetrical design, and we had the main entrance in the center. We had a lot of glass near the entrance of the space, and then we had less on the sides where there might be shelving or something below those windows. That was the intent.
So it'd be kind of setting it up for like a CVS or something like that, where they usually don't want to display on the windows. They have everything on the inside.
It could be something along those lines, but yes, the idea was not to put all glass along the entire front, because if you're going to have some retail, you want room for the shelving to be there.
Okay, fair enough. That's also not a requirement necessarily. I was just curious at looking at that. Well, I like the design of the building. I just usually would see for 4 retail spaces a lot more glazing, at least down to more of a knee level, rather than what this would be more like eye level. Okay. Question. I don't think I saw it in the plans. Is there going to be any HVAC equipment or mechanical equipment on the roof?
There will be. So the HVAC system hasn't been designed yet, but I'm anticipating it's either going to be in the roof or some of it might be inside the building itself.
Okay.
The roof does have a parapet. It slopes down towards the back, about 1/4 inch per foot. So we're probably going to have about 4.5 to 5 foot of parapet at the rear portion of the building, and maybe 3.5 feet or so in the front. So the intent was to put them on the roof, and then if anything stuck up, to screen it with active screening around each unit.
Okay. So to what extent would any equipment on the roof be visible from, say, somebody in the parking lot in front of the building or just driving by on Joan Warren Way?
Well, the intent is to not have it visible.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. I think that really covers everything in my report. Yeah, they've addressed the variances, or to the extent the few new variances are required. I had some minor comments. They've already previously addressed landscaping comments. And then I'll defer to Mark on any engineering and circulation issues.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This application's been around for a while, so I just want to get one thing clarified, because Chris just came on board this year. This was originally talked about a grocery store of some sort, a small grocer, and that's why you have one retail space on the bottom? Is that still the case? Not the case?
We've been working on this application now for a year and a half, and along the way, our client did contemplate that there would be a small specialty grocery store. It remains a possibility, but there's no tenant.
Okay, and to clarify, the spaces along the front of the building are 10 feet wide, is that correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So they've agreed to meet the comments in my review letter, but I have a few other questions. Mr. Pape, you talked about the management of the stormwater basin, and you'll get us that documentation as far as who manages it?
Yes, there's an association that was created, and currently I believe it's the Teifel family that has the majority of the properties. I believe that they're running the management, but there's an actual recorded instrument that I found was recorded 7 or 8 years ago.
So we're going to look to have that, all that submitted to the board. You are essentially the last part of this puzzle for this site to come before the board. So I'm going to also look for documentation on the operation and maintenance manuals for the stormwater basin. Even though the basin is not on your property, you're part of that association that's maintaining the overall for the entire area there. So we're going to need O&M manuals. Also, any drainage easements that are on the site.
I sent them to you too.
As well as those. Again, I'm just looking to get all the documentation in order for the township that they have it on record. Again, since you're the last one in. So a couple other questions. I'm sorry. Since you don't know what the tenant is, you're agreeable to a tenancy review and a parking calculation analysis at that time of tenancy review?
At the time of making application for the tenants, absolutely.
Okay. And the second floor, is it just going to be office space, or would there be retail on the second floor, or I don't know, dance studios, something to that effect?
No, strictly office.
Strictly office. Thank you. Let's see. Hours of operation, there was a note on the plan that indicated weekdays, or is there no weekend hours proposed for this site?
That would be an error. It's just necessary to be open 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Accommodate whatever comes our way.
Thank you.
What about the hours? You said 7 days a week. What are the hours? Are there any restrictions?
There are no restrictions that were imposed previously in any of the relief.
So would that be part of the review, your tenant review?
I would ask that we be permitted to open early in the day, say 8 a.m., and be permitted to be open until 10 a.m. with all of the outdoor lights. 10 p.m., 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and that there'd be the opportunity to be open.
7 to 11 is what the plan
7 to 11 is what, Sharif just pointed. Mr. No, he just, 7 a.m. to 11 is what we put on the plans. We'd like to have the 7 a.m. to 11.
My concern would just be overnight. You're not, it's not an operation that's going to be 24-hour operation. Thank you.
No. We're comfortable with the 7 to 11. That's
So the dumpster size that's proposed, and you're not sure the number of tenants you may have in here, how do you propose that this dumpster is going to be able to accommodate the various uses? If you have 4 different tenants, what we've seen in the commercial is every tenant wants their own dumpster. How is that going to be managed and monitored to assure we don't have dumpsters laying out in parking lots?
Well, place on the record that the dumpster, that you notice Sharif increased the size of the dumpster storage area considerably, but we have no problem stipulating in any relief that's granted that there can be no dumpsters outside of the enclosure. And the control over it is by the owner of the building, and the method of making certain that there isn't excess materials is to increase the number of times that the private hauler comes to the site if necessary. Begin with 2 and probably go to 3 if there is an issue.
Okay. In addition, I just asked for that to be noted on the plan as well.
Yes.
Another thing that just came up is in the dumpster area, you do show the truck maneuvering in and out of the dumpster area, but it appears there's an overhang by the door. And I'm not sure of the height of that overhang and whether that impacts a garbage truck pulling in and out of there. It looks like it may only be 10 or 12 feet in height.
So we have. And we're showing a 12-foot clear. If that's not adequate, we could raise it up.
Well, frankly, I'm going to leave that up to you and as the applicant and the professionals. If you got a dumpster with turning maneuvers that actually hit that area, most garbage trucks, I think, might be 12 feet.
Mr. Kennel opined that the appropriate location is 14 feet, so noted.
Yes, we could raise that to 14
Okay.
feet.
Great. And let's see. Chair, that's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board members have questions?
I have a question
Go ahead, Mr.
with
Lee.
regards to signage, and it goes to the point of one use or multiple uses, and that there's only one freestanding sign and 2 wall-mounted signs on the building. So how is that managed with multiple tenants then?
The monument sign is intended to identify the building. One of the signs is identified to identify the office element, and the larger sign that is intended to identify the retail, we'd ask for flexibility on that. If there are multiple tenants, that we'd be permitted to follow the ordinance. I think the ordinance has a 10% of the facade, so we would stipulate that there would be no violation of the total square footage of 10% of the facade on which the additional signs were located. So no variance relief would be required. Mr. Remsch is pointing out that part of the sign approval process is to make application for a sign permit. It's at that level where determining that the sign is compliant with the size requirements would be enforced.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. Lupo?
Mr. Pape, I got 2 questions. As you just alluded to, it's very possible you might have a small grocery store.
Could be.
Could be. Which obviously, when you have groceries, you got perishables. Do you have any intention, the applicant have any intention of putting a generator in this place?
Mr. Lupo, Our client has just indicated that his goal would be to use solar power as the backup source of energy and to not solar-powered batteries as the backup source of energy and does not.
Is that indicated or will be indicated on the plan?
It would be rooftop mechanical.
The second question, you have offices upstairs, possibly 4 tenants downstairs. What about mail? Like mailboxes, like how does people get mail? You might have multiple, you might have 2, 3 offices upstairs. What happens?
Yeah.
At least I didn't see it on the plan.
For the offices, we do have a lobby area, so we could have mailboxes in the lobby.
And Sharif or Steve, is there any specific accommodation for mail to the retail tenants? Would there be a gang box or would the mail be delivered to the tenants?
We could have it delivered directly to the tenants, I think, right? Mhm.
The client has indicated that there will be the lobby for mail for the offices, and individual tenants will be permitted to have a mailbox or mail slot at their space.
That's it?
Just quick question about the loading. How's that going to work? Can you walk me through that, loading and unloading, especially if it's a grocery store? Where's that going to be?
So I do have an exhibit. So we up to A3?
We are, A3.
So the loading area, as we indicated, will be on the north wall of the building, as was previously approved, right in front of the trash enclosure, required by the ordinance, I believe 12 by 50. We have 15 by 60 feet deep. So we exceeded the ordinance requirement on the loading area.
The exhibit that you're presenting, it also shows the turning template for the anticipated vehicle that would go into the loading area.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chair, the loading area, can that be delineated a little more with striping of some sort in there? It doesn't really look like it's delineated on the plan, on your color rendering,
Yeah, we could do that, yeah.
so that, you know, customers know it's a loading area, or the truck pulls in, he knows where to go. With some type of hatching or
Yes.
and lettering. Thank you.
One more. Somebody mentioned outside meeting area. Was that on the roof? How does that work with all the, now you're going to put heating and air conditioning, you're going to put solar panels, batteries. You're just going to have a seating area in there?
So at the second floor square footage doesn't exactly match the first floor square footage. There's basically a central portion that's carved out, that's roof. So there's a one-story portion where the roof deck is, and then there's the two-story portion. So the rooftop equipment would be on the two-story portion. The one-story portion is going to have pavers, maybe a little bit, maybe some plants, some plantings, maybe some cafe tables, just so employees of the offices can maybe have a meeting or whatever
So it's not
outside.
on the roof, it's like a donut then?
Well, it's on a roof, but it's on the one-story roof.
Tanzi.
Yes, how would access be made to get onto the HVAC system to service it on the second?
So to service the HVAC equipment, is that what you asked?
Yes. And the
So
electrical solar system?
at one of the two staircases, there would be probably a 4x4 roof access, and then there would be a fixed ladder inside the stairwell, so that if somebody needed to go onto the roof, they would go up the ladder, open the hatch, and go up on the roof. There would be extensions that go above and beyond the roof for safety, and then they would work on the roof.
So there's no visible doghouse up on the roof?
There isn't, no. We wouldn't have a penthouse. Since the building's only 2 stories, it's not required.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I'm gonna throw a little, can someone tell me where they're gonna store the batteries, and are batteries allowed to be in the building like this? From solar?
Allowed? But
Well, I'm hoping your professionals can answer that question, not the tenant, not the owner of the building.
Okay.
So there'll be solar panels on the second floor roof, and then there'll be storage batteries for the solar power, and right, like wall mounted ones, basically, kind of like you would see like a Tesla, like Tesla chargers.
So they're gonna be open that people could see them? Is it gonna be fenced in? If it's on the outside, what outside wall are they going on? Where are they gonna be enclosed in something? And does our township ordinance allow outside batteries? Solar panels on the roof, most people are generating power during the day, they're not storing it. He's referring to no generator, that means at night, if something fails, they're gonna rely on those batteries to take DC to make AC, and that's a storage, that's a huge storage. I just wanna know where they're gonna put these batteries. I don't know if our ordinance allows that.
So we have been involved in other places doing that, so I do, honestly, Mr. Chair, I didn't come prepared to cite any statutory basis for solar panels and solar batteries to be installed. We would stipulate that I just conferred with our client, the batteries would be on the roof. They would not be on the...
On the roof.
They would be on the roof with the other HVAC.
I'm gonna leave that as an open question. I don't believe that's valid.
Just thinking out loud here, because this wasn't part of the plan, so it's not something we had reviewed. I have seen the battery storage units for larger utility scale solar proposed at much larger sites where there's 50 acres of solar, and those things are the size of a shipping container. So it's something I'm assuming it's much smaller than that, and part of the concern is what is the height going to be? We talked about HVAC on the roof and how that's going to be screened, but I'm not sure is this battery something that's 2 feet tall or 10 feet tall.
It also needs to be enclosed, it needs to be ventilated. It's a whole new realm.
Yeah, there are fire concerns over batteries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we were just,
And that would-
weight we brought up in the fire
Well,
concerns.
the weight and everything else, that's a whole different ballgame.
To some degree, that would be dealt with in terms of building code, fire code, that they would have to comply with, but for this board, as the zoning board, whether or not it's visible from the roof is really your primary concern.
Right, we'll make sure that it's not visible from the ground, and then also we'll make sure that it complies with the building.
Yeah, would be subject to securing the necessary approvals for both construction and fire. And I understand, Mr. Chairman, it is new and it's novel, but it's the way our client would like to go. We'll stipulate that we'll go through all of the building and fire requirements. Mr. Radasi stipulates it will not be physically visible from the road.
Okay. So does your client plan on adding any cell phone apparatus on top of his building to generate additional revenue?
Like towers?
Not a tower, they have these small cell antennas and so on and so forth. Is that something he's considering as well?
Mr. Chair, the answer is no.
No?
So stipulated.
Okay, the loading dock, Mr. Brett from the Brady Associates, what size truck was that calculated for? Because it's an awful sharp turn backing out or trying to get in there to back a truck in to unload it. And is there a loading ramp, or what size truck are we doing if we're having some type of a small convenience store?
To start from no, there is no loading ramps here. On the side of the building, you'll see that roll-up door that is basically leading to the floor. But this is a small box truck. It's the same size as a garbage truck. From the front to the back is about 30 feet, and you see them along the highways for retail stores. That's the only truck that we had. So SU fired a small box truck that we have.
Okay, so this building is what, 10,000 square? Would you say a Wawa or a Quick Check is 10,000 square feet?
Well, the building footprint is 10,000, but by the time you remove the elevators and the mechanical room and the sprinkler room and the staircase, so you're probably down to close to 9,000 square feet.
Okay, so that makes it even better. Is a Wawa or a Quick Check, they're about 9,000 square feet. Did you ever see the size tractor trailers?
No, Wawa
They're
is
5,000.
more.
Good, so we're double that size. They get a tractor trailer delivered with with product, and a store double the size not gonna have a tractor trailer?
Yeah, well, Wawa, their trucks travel from a store to store. This is just a single store.
I got that, but it's
Yeah.
still a truck. Whether you put 50 stores in one truck or one store in one truck, the physical truck needs to come pull into the spot. Doesn't matter how many stops they're making.
Well, this is the only truck that will be coming into the site. So we are committed to that, and it could be in the one of the condition in the resolution.
Okay, I also saw in the turning radius where your EV spots are on your Joan Warren Way, you picked up some additional spots from the original plans.
Correct.
Okay, and it's also striped over there, so that striped area is telling me, let me squeeze another car in there, and turning in and out, I don't know what from the parking spot to the curb, but it appears that it's relatively close.
So the stripe area for the EV, one of the EVs has to allow for ADA vehicles, so it's mandated by law. So that's the reason for that striped area. It's for the AV, specifically for the EV.
I know what it's designed for, but you don't think anyone's gonna squeeze in there because it potentially could be a spot.
No, we can provide your staff the turning for a small vehicle coming into the 10 by 18 space there.
Okay.
We don't see it will be an issue at all.
Is that box truck that's gonna make the deliveries the same height as the garbage truck? Or is that different?
Generally the same.
Is that garbage truck a front loader with the forks lifting up the dumpster and dumping it in? Or is it, what dumpster we
Whether
using?
that's been determined, whether it's a rear loading or front loading.
Right, so if it's picking up a dumpster, it's coming from the front. They usually don't pick them up from the back. Some places they do, but most of them in the front with the forks. So when they pick that up and they come on top of that truck, is that overhang gonna be in the way again?
Steve, how far is that projected in the building?
Mr. Chairman, if you look at the layout of that loading area, if you look at the opening for the trash enclosure, you will see that the truck will be further away from that overhang.
I also see the same picture when the truck is backing out. It's going right up to the property line too, so, and that's probably a perfect driver on a perfect day. What if you get an inexperienced driver? So we're gonna go through a fence or something?
No. This is all parking spaces, all the parking in the area. That's a parking. That's a 70 spaces there for the affordable housing building, and it's all shared parking spaces. So still within the aisle. There is no fence will be in that area. The property line is just, you can call it like a lease line. Or
I could see where
And if there was to be, a generator, it would be immediately adjacent to the dumpster area. And it would be screened.
Well, Mark, would they have to come back for that at that point?
That would be a zoning permit, and it'd be reviewed by the zoning office, and, you know, he'd make that determination at that time,
Okay.
based on the location and where it's at, if it would have to come back to the board.
Okay. Any questions? We open and close the public portion?
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
this is the loading unloading plan, you said garbage, that's why I think it's confusing.
No,
Because we're
it's
using
the
the
same
same
area,
plan for the
it's
same
using
thing.
the same door. Same area for the garbage disposal or the dumpster and the roll-off.
And the roll-off.
Okay, thank you. Okay, board members, you have the application in front of you. I need a motion to approve or deny.
Mr. Chair? I just don't feel comfortable voting on this right now. I think there's a lot of loose ends that have to be corrected. I'd like our professionals to be satisfied. I don't think they are. So I just don't feel comfortable.
So are you gonna vote to deny it? Are you gonna make a recommendation to table it until further answers or information can be provided?
I would give the applicant the benefit of the doubt to table this and get it cleared up and come back to our professionals, and our professionals agree, then, yeah, then we at least we have a clear conscience of what we can vote on. You yourself said the batteries, there's so many other things that are going on. Mr. Masters'
That's
questions.
something that we have jurisdiction on.
Really, you need to act on the application. You can grant the preliminary and tell them you want to come back and show you the rest of the items on final. That would be the recourse you have
That'd
if
be-
you aren't comfortable completely with the application.
That's my choice.
So you're in agreement with the
Yes.
council
Yes.
to preliminary until everything is satisfied, then they'd have to come back again for
Correct.
the final.
Correct.
And just for the record, preliminary site plan approval with the bulk variance relief they've requested?
Correct.
Okay.
May I ask that you continue to have jurisdiction over the application that was filed for final, so upon the revisions being made, that we can return to the board without further application? We filed for preliminary and final, paid the fees, and escrows for preliminary and final. You're acting on the preliminary, just ask if you would preserve the jurisdiction over the remainder.
That is not my decision, so that's, I mean, that's a township policy. I don't decide how they do that. So I think you can ask for that, but
Oh, I thought that.
so I know in prior applications, if they apply for preliminary and final is not granted at the time of preliminary and final, at the time of the initial application, a second application for final is typically submitted in the township. So,
Your substantial fees and escrows that have been funded for this, you're saying they have to be forfeited?
I'm saying that I don't know what happens to them because I don't handle the dollars and cents of how things go, Mr. Pape. That's,
I mean, there'd be no forfeiture of escrow. If there's remaining escrow, it's refunded, and then new escrow would be deposited, or I would presume that if there's any remaining escrow right now, it could then be moved to the new application.
Mr. Chair, if I can ask the applicant, do you plan on having all these items cleaned up, like in the next month or in the next couple of weeks? A suggestion is that possibly the board don't vote at this time at all.
That's
and
our
then you
request.
clean all these items up, and then they entertain an amended preliminary and final at the next hearing or 2 hearings from now.
Mr. Rasmus, I was just conferred with the client, that is our preference. I appreciate the offer to do for preliminary, but I'd ask that we rest. We'll make the resubmission to your staff, and we'll ask that you carry us to your next meeting. We'll make certain that the revisions are on the plan, so that the issues raised by Mr. Lupo and by the chair will be addressed before we ask you to vote.
Well, our professionals also, whatever they're requesting, needs to be part of that,
Absolutely.
that revision. Okay,
So-
so we're not putting this to a vote? We're
We're
gonna
asking
adjourn,
carry.
no,
Yes.
you're just gonna return?
so, I mean, I don't know, Laura, do you know what our calendar looks like for our next?
They got priority. They're here.
Okay.
So the request would be, the applicant has rested with regard to the presentation. We'd ask that you carry us to your next available hearing without the requirement of renotice or publication for purposes of confirming that we've addressed the concerns that were raised.
Understood. So that would be April 28th. So this application will be heard at the board's April 28th meeting at 6:30 PM in this room. No further notice will be required.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Chair. Thank you all.
Somewhere in our files, I have old copies. Laura sent me a bunch of stuff. There's a million things.
Okay, board members, we have a few more things to do, and then we'll be able to adjourn. Okay, so we did Thor Investments. Oh, I'm sorry, we did this. Why do I only have?
I don't know. I'm here. Got you.
Okay, board members, we have a memorialization of application BA-5256-24, Joseph Gravina. Do I have a motion?
Motion. So it would be a motion by you. I believe it's only you, Mr. Tansey, and Mr. Masters can vote. Only the people who voted in favor of the action to take. So we only had 5 people there. We had 2 people. But they voted against it. So only the 3 people who voted. So it's Mr. Tansey, Mr. Masters, and the chairman. So if we can get a motion and a second.
We have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second. Nope.
No. Mr. Tanzi, are you seconding?
There we go.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
We don't have to call a roll call.
Mr. Masters? Yes. Mr. Tanzi? Yes. Chairman LaFava?
Yes.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, next.
SOP on this one. That's fine.
Application BA-5261-25, S&G Paving. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, roll call.
We have a second. Mr. Tanzi? Mr. Masters? Yes. Ms. Caratori? Yes. Mr. Tanzi? Yes. Mr. Jaffe?
Yes.
Chairman LaFava?
Yes. And the last one, BA-5263-25. Do I have a motion to memorialize?
So moved.
Second? Second. Roll call, please, Ms.
Mr.
Mancini?
Masters? Yes. Ms. Caratori? Yes. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Mr. Jaffe?
Yes.
Chairman LaFava?
Yes. Okay, anyone from the public wishing to be heard, please come forward. Seeing there's none, motion to close public portion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Any correspondences? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone, have a happy Passover and a happy Easter.